Greetings and merry Yuletide festive celebrational day. Hope you're all having an incredible time. It probably isn't actually Christmas Day. I hope you're having a great time. Anyway, so how the hell do you use a distortion pedal? You get lots of conflicting information on the typical uses because of course there are a myriad different kinds of distortion pedal on the market. So first of all, we're going to get straight to the point and say that when people say distortion pedal, more often than not what they mean is an overdrive pedal. So for example, the classic Ibanez Tube Screamer is an overdrive pedal. It's probably the most ubiquitous overdrive pedal in the world. And I'm going to talk about this pedal a lot today. If you are a complete beginner, this video is really for you. If you are somebody else who's played for a while, it might be interesting. I don't know. I really hope you enjoy this video anyway. So I'm using a TS9 overdrive pedal called a Tube Screamer. I'm going to be using two different guitars, one with a big fat noisy humbucker and one with some single coils that are much less output. I'm also going to be using, I'm wearing a hat because in Malta it's cold for the first time in ages, a valve amplifier. So I did film a short soliloquy all about distortion pedals and overdrive pedals and clipping and harmonics and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then I realized it's just way too much information. You don't need it. It's kind of gonna just ruin the video being in there even. You can research it on Google if you need to. Distortion pedals and overdrive pedals are very different creatures. And also I then shot another piece where I was discussing that this video is about using an overdrive pedal in front of a clean amplifier as opposed to the traditional, normal way of putting it in front of a crunched up amplifier, which for some reason didn't film. So this video is about overdrive pedals and how to use them in front of a clean amplifier. Sorry about that. So here is my juicy, delicious pedal board of awe and inspiration. And down here is my TS9 Tube Screamer, and it is an overdrive pedal. It's got level here, it's got tone here, and it's got drive here. Now I'm going to talk as if you know nothing about overdrive pedals at all. So level is how loud the pedal will be. The tone is a filter that allows or pushes bass tones or treble tones, so that the more you turn it this way, the brighter it's going to sound, and the more you put it this way, the darker it will sound. Sometimes if you want a fat sound, I put it back here. And then drive is how kind of sizzly, overdriven the guitar is going to sound through the amplifier. Now you may have noticed I have two of them. I have a little one here. Actually, it's my friend Luke's. Thanks, Luke. The Tube Screamer Mini. And then I've got the big one here. Now, they're kind of the same thing in different packages. And actually this one's really good, made in Japan, really, really cool. But I've set them differently. And that's what I want to talk about. So the little one, as you can see, it has no overdrive at all. Zilch, I've turned it off. The level is a bit dusty, but you can probably see it's kind of pointing that away. So a bit of level. And the tone is set quite dark. It's pointing that away. So what this is a rhythm tone. It's taking a clean amplifier and it's turning it into a little bit more of a chunky version of a rhythm kind of rocky blues sound. If I add this on top, I'll get a scorching lead tonality. So you can use two of them and for different reasons. So the trick of just using the level and the tone and turning the gain off is everywhere. It's ubiquitous. Loads of people do it. Essentially, it becomes kind of a tone and volume machine. And that's a really cool thing that many people don't explore, as is using other pedals. For example, I use this very thing from Snake Oil, or this Octavio from Dunlop. I've also got this beautiful prototype pedal up here. All sorts of things that I chain together to get a specific sound I want. But if you want to be louder, brighter or darker, you can use this without the gain. And if you want lead tones, you crank up the gain and you'll find that lead tone there. So to begin with, I'm going to be using this guitar with single coil pickups plugged into the Ibanez TS9 overdrive pedal and then into the front the input of the amplifier. Now, the reason I've told you that I'm going into the pedal and then into the front of the amplifier is that because on some amplifiers, there are holes in the back that are called an effects loop, and some pedals you would put in the back of the amplifier. But for an overdrive pedal, I would generally suggest, that you go through the front. So, here is the sound of my amplifier right now. It is a clean amp. Because it's a valve tube amplifier, if I hit really hard, you might get a little tiny bit of crunch from those tubes. But not a lot, especially with single coil pickups, which are sort of on the spectrum of pickup power, fairly low output, and you use them normally for sparkly clean, lovely playing. Let me engage the concept and the pedal of using one of these overdrive pedals to get me a rhythm type sound. So I'm playing clean, and I hit an area in a song, or maybe I'm just playing and I want to have a slightly hotter sound. And like the typical AC/DC rhythm kind of vibe, you probably know what that is. And I step on my little pedal that is no drive at all, lots of level, so volume pushing my amplifier. And the tone is a little bit darker and it sounds like this. So you can hear it's fattened the sound up. It's made it nice and lovely sounding. So with the pedal off, with the little pedal on, so it's not metal, it's barely even sort of heavy rock. It kind of just sizzles up the sound. It gives it a good old zzz, a little bit of zzz. Now, you could use this sound to play lead guitar if it was the sound that you felt was right for you, and you get this kind of thing. Kind of, it's letting the notes sing for a bit longer. It makes it feel easier to play. For example, without the pedal on, that's what happens to a note. And with the pedal on, it's a lot more present in the mix. Now, my other TS9 is set up completely differently. The big boy, as you know and saw, is set to stun and sounds like this. So it's really set up to overdrive. It's going to give you a lead kind of tonality. Let's chain them together. So we're going to start with a clean sound, add in the little baby one that's going to give us that rhythm sound, and now step on the big fat one. There are lots of different ways of using an overdrive pedal. You can plug your guitar in it, into the amp, and you can use it as a box that distorts, overdrives, clips the signal, and it makes that kind of hot, heated sound. Or you can use it to just make the guitar louder and brighter, or louder and darker, more of a tone sculpting pedal. Or you can use two of them to do a bit of both and to give you two different stages of volume, gain, and overall destructive power. And that's where the fun really lies. just for example, what if I didn't use single coil pickups? What if I used instead a humbucker? Because I know you're all looking at this beautiful green guitar down here by Sahana Guitars from Nepal. Well, let's plug in and see what happens. Straight off the bat, you're going to notice that it doesn't have a clean sound anymore. For example, I mean, if I pick really softly, I can get an approximate clean sound, but this pickup is so powerful that if I hit the strings with the pick, it's going to distort the amplifier. So you have to ask yourself, do you need an overdrive pedal or do you need a hotter humbucker? For the kind of style that you want to play, is what you need a pedal or a different kind of pickup, you know? Now I'll step on pedal number 1. And now pedal number 2 included. As you can hear and tell, with a humbucker, it's a completely different world. What makes more difference to the sound from your amplifier is the way you set the amp and the kind of guitar that you plug into it, because all the gain in the world going through some low output pickups will just sound different to the same amount of gain going through an EMG set or a bare knuckle set or a Sahana humbucker. It makes a big difference. So, I hope you've learned something cool about overdrive pedals. Plug them in, set them loud, and then experiment using them as either a tone sculpting instrument or something that pushes, clips the signal and gives you that lead hot tonality. Take it easy. Chappers out.